Hey guys, Kirk here. I'm back. Let's see here. Let me center my wheel. I'm going to do my first attempt here at Talk and Drive. I'm going to Pagani Huayra. Sorry, let me see if I can pronounce that right. Yeah, Huayra, which is quite the monster. This is a 6-liter V12 twin turbo, chasing a couple of yellow 458 Italias here, which I should be able to keep up with in this complete monster of a car. This is a bit of an informal chat, just me talking and driving. If I can steal that idea from Niels H, amongst others. Picked this car because in VR, sure on a monitor too, it's just unbelievable to just look around in the interior here. Beautiful car. Read somewhere that it's based, at least aesthetically, on aircraft. So if you look at it, I mean, look at those vents. I almost want to reach out and point at them so you can see what I'm talking about. But at least until a couple years from now, you're not going to be able to see what my arms are doing. So this is an informal chat. I just wanted to talk a little bit about VR as it pertains to sim racing, as well as haptics, the thing I'm building, quick update on that, and whatever else pops into my head as I'm trying not to crash. I did upgrade. I had a 7870 AMD, upgraded to a GeForce GTX 970. Basically, you need a pretty top-end video card to do Assetto Corsa or pretty much anything else in VR at this point. Most of the PC VR titles are really kind of mods of existing PC games. So whereas the Gear VR, Samsung's mobile gaming platform, is really, obviously you can't plug it into a giant expensive GPU, you gotta have it working mobile. Very different platform. But in VR, one thing you'll notice, shadows, reflections, all kinds of wacky stuff going on here. Without that, you really lose a sense of immersion without all the bells and whistles turned on. I think I hear someone behind me. Go ahead, buddy. Alright. Looks like you drank too much coffee. See if I can catch up to the last guy. So VR for me is something, frankly, can't go back. This is not something you try out and go, I mean, you can't see it on the video, but this is all three-dimensional for me. I feel like I'm in the car. It's pretty incredible. Hard to explain really without slapping the headset on. This is an Oculus Rift dev kit too. They're coming out with a consumer version next year. Presumably you'll be able to buy it at Amazon.com or Fry's or whatever store you have nearby. That will be higher resolution, lighter weight. Also, should have a lot of the software kinks worked out right now. Getting this set up to record this video and get VR working and etc. took me the better part of this morning. So it's not consumer ready yet. I consider myself fairly technically oriented. I can do some damage, but it was really hard for me just to get everything dialed in perfectly. So not ready yet. will be soon. What else? VR for me, yes, the 3D is pretty cool. Okay, it's beyond that, but and yes, being able to look next to you and figure out where people are situated relative to you is obviously pretty important in driving. 3 monitor setups solve that. No doubt about that. Now granted, they can't do this with the 3 monitor setup. Can't do that. Can't look at my invisible legs. But you can get a good sense of field of view, which is really what you need when you're driving. The field of view on the Oculus Rift is about 100 degrees. That is okay, but it's not great. The 3 monitor setup will probably get you better than that. The other thing it'll get you is if you have 3 monitors set up at 1080p, you'll get 3 times the resolution of the Oculus Rift. So, assuming you have low latency monitors, maybe 120 hertz, might be a better option for you in the short run. Obviously, if you have monitors completely surrounding your head, you can look around and see things. Problem I have with triple monitor setups is obviously there's no depth perception, and the Rift was designed from the start to be a low latency device because latency will make you barf in VR. Your brain believes you're here, right? But if you turn your head and the world doesn't move for 200 milliseconds, your brain knows something is horribly wrong. I don't know why it throws up, but it definitely doesn't like it. So, I don't know, tough call. 3 monitors. Again, I got my Rift for $400 including shipping. And 3 monitors will cost you a bit more than that. So if you can deal with the weight of a Rift and the lower resolution, for me it's a no-brainer. I just didn't have the room in my man cave to squeeze 3 monitors in, so it's a lot easier for me if you're sort of space limited to just slap this thing on. Anyway, last thoughts on VR. The wheel, you can adjust your position to align the virtual wheel with your real wheel, which makes it a lot more immersive. You kind of, everything kind of syncs up. What I think eventually we'll need to do in simulators to accommodate VR better is to make wheels that are adjustable, or even pedals like in the Ferrari, LaFerrari. I am faster than you, 458. Is to make the wheel adjustable in the simulator so that you don't have to fiddle with your seating position to make the wheels align properly. Someday that'll be in place, I'm sure. So anyway, it's in my mind there's no doubt that this is the future. If you've tried it, it's hard to imagine going back to monitors. Not for everybody though. Some people get horribly ill in this thing. I've had relatives try it out. AI just cannot deal with that turn for some reason. Oh, he's missing a wheel. That would explain it. Alright, I'm going to pull over and wait for the other one. Oh, there he is. He's being nice. Let's see if I can push him by. Man. There you go. Mush. There you go. Where was I? Last thing I wanted to say about VR is try it if you haven't. hard to explain. Moving on. Haptics. G-forces. Sim racing's pretty good as is. I feel like we're hitting walls in terms of graphics, fidelity. Steering wheels are getting better and cheaper. Finally. Sound, bass shakers. We got Sim Vibe. We got all kinds of fancy stuff. We even have motion rigs, which, in my opinion, aren't good enough. Sorry, purveyors of motion rigs. There's just certain things you can't do in a sim rig that happen in real life. I always bring up bank turns. Bank turns, you're not really going to feel them in sim rigs